And in the bottom left of Northern Isles, getting human with his random, it is from New Zealand, SaysO. And in the upper right, from Canada, Canadianaland, as I like to say it, the undead dominator, it is iNSUPERABLE. All right, and human versus undead. OC Drum, what do you think about this matchup? Do you like it as a human player, or how do you feel about it?
What a treat getting to see human again in this tournament. I'm starting to like the matchup more and more as I get a little bit better at it. I expect to see a fast expo, racing their way up to knights. Mortars, maybe a little bit, gyros, casters. We'll see. But also, lately, we've seen some inner fire rifles against undead. So I wonder what we'll see SaysO pull out in this game.
Yeah, for sure. He is likely to do different styles. He could play that inner fire one-base rifle style. He definitely is well aware of every strategy at his disposal, even though it's his off race. He's got a very strong human, and it's worth noting that iNSUP really doesn't like this matchup. This is his, in his words, his worst matchup. So this is a really good flip of the coin for SaysO, getting this with random. He's going to be pretty happy, I'm sure. And iNSUP's forced, of course, to go into the Ted Fiends build order we were talking about before. And he's not going to be able to go with the Crypt Lord he might like against human, the Lich, which he's been favoring a lot. We mentioned that in the ESL Cup against Todd when he went Lich 4 times in a row against human. So iNSUP, he might not be out of his comfort zone, but he might be a little upset to see that it is human he's playing.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, he didn't really know that, so can't pick the hero he would ideally want. Went with the safe insurance policy of the Death Knight, and we'll see how he can handle of what he says his weakest matchup in SaysO.
Yeah, SaysO getting the Claws of Attack already. Cloak of Shadow's not the best, but the Claws are all he needed for iNSUP. He's getting Slippers. Ooh, Wand of Lightning Shield. That definitely has some playmaking potential. The Footman is being a little bit annoying for iNSUP, but he'll nevertheless get level 2 if no steals happen. And it looks as though SaysO is eventually gearing up for an expansion. He is going for that 4th farm, so he's probably going to call the Militia right after this Murloc spot, and then the harass will begin from the Death Knight.
Yeah, and like you said, that Lightning Shield can be really deadly in an expo attempt, can really just start roasting peasants, any injured footies who are in your face. iNSUP has the potential to do a lot of damage in this expo attempt.
Yeah, iNSUP had his Acolyte in quite a good position. He almost could have fully blocked the Militia there for quite a while, but nevertheless, he's going to allow SaysO to start creeping. 2 Footmen paired off to chase that Death Knight around, which is really nicely done. Those Claws are going to be working now. The Coil going to come in possibly on the Ogre Magi, but nice stop control from SaysO so far. Nevertheless, though, iNSUP actually gets it. Yeah, he did get it, and the Lightning Shield also on the Acolyte, of all things, doing a ton of damage.
Acolyte going to be a nuisance in the face of SaysO. Finally, the Lightning Shield is gone, but summoning more and more Skeleton Warriors. But iNSUP needs to be careful. Correctly right-clicking the Death Knight with SaysO's Archmage, going to be able to push him back and keep the distance.
Yeah, this is a pretty good harass so far. A little bit too much damage taken on the Death Knight, but still, the expansion's been delayed quite a bit. He got some nice last hits. So far, he's gotten 1 peasant, but there's probably more to be killed. There's plenty of mana. That's really where this mistake comes into play for iNSUP taking so much damage. He can't use his mana now. Taking the damage is all right, but you'd ideally want to take the damage after you've already thrown these coils and gotten some peasant kills. But iNSUP's going to go towards the main base, but what do you know? There's already an Arcane Tower at the main base.
Really great defensive play there from SaysO. I was questioning it earlier, but really paid off. iNSUP now not able to push in that main base. Going to have to turn around and maybe think about the expo again.
Fiend a little bit out of position, but it will wiggle its way out. SaysO went towards the marketplace to look for some more Claws. Unfortunately, nothing there to be found. The Skeleton's trying to find some more peasants. There's no bouncer at the door in the top, but the Lightning Shield, uh-oh, that's a little bit of a nuisance. Nicely placed as well, but the Coil could find a couple more peasants. So iNSUP didn't have the best initial harass, but now the damage he put on earlier is mounting a lot of kills.
This level 2 Ward Elemental going to help out quite a bit. Still more right clicks on the Death Knight, going to force him back yet again, but against so many Skeleton Warriors and a well-placed Lightning Shield, nicely mitigated by SaysO for the time being. And SaysO again pushes iNSUP off of the expo.
Yeah, no cancel on the Arcane Tower. That's a position where a lot of the times we'll see Happy really dive in with those Fiends to try to get that Arcane Tower cancel, but it's going to get up. SaysO's going to transfer 3 peasants from the main base. His tech is already underway. Oh my god. Okay, so SaysO techs with 4 lumber peasants in the main base. He's going to be able to build some more off this town hall that's now constructed, but his lumber is going to hurt later on.
Yeah, you ideally want at least 8 back at home, chopping lumber if you can with the lumber mill and the upgrade. Don't see the lumber mill either. So lumber situation going to hurt quite a bit for SaysO. He's going to need to start pumping out those peasants, get at least 6 or 7 chopping up at the expo.
For sure, and INSUP not letting up with the pressure. He did have backpack. I assume he already used the second rod that was transferred over from earlier. 4 Fiends. Plenty enough to kill all these peasants. That's why the footmen have to respect this. They have to come back. Defend is online now, so this will help out a ton with SaysO's defense against these Fiends. But this isn't the end of the pressure. The Tier 3 tech is soon to be done, and with that, we're going to have Lich with Orb. We're going to have Pit Lord with Rain of Fire. We're going to have the statues turning into destroyers. It's going to get pretty tough for SaysO soon enough.
Yeah, extremely fast Tier 3 tech from INSUP. Like you said, it's going to get ugly real quick for SaysO if he's not careful. Wants to get more damage on this Death Knight, push him back. But INSUP doing so much with so little health on the Death Knight.
Yeah, consistently. He's been low since the initial harass. SaysO's looking for some surrounds. It would be really nice for him to get a Fiend, but now the Nova could come in. The defend is triggered. That is 7 footmen currently, so it's going to be difficult to clean all those up. But with that nice Nova, that's 2 already down. Level 3 on the Death Knight with full mana still. He could kill all these footmen so easily with these spells.
That's going to be really hard for SaysO to get any value out of this push. 300 mana strong. At least 6 coils in the bag right now. Going to be able to heal up all those Fiends, kill all of those footies. And INSUP showing mercy right now, not launching any coils just yet as one more footy falls.
Yeah, I think we're getting into overcommit territory here for SaysO. He's lost like about 4 or 5 footmen in this pressure now. He didn't get anything. He did push INSUP back to his base, but INSUP wants to go back to his base. He wants to go buy that orb. He just reached Tier 3. And then he can pick up the Pit Lord, and it will flow very well into a nice push. SaysO's trying to tower up. He's trying to get tower number 2 and number 3 at the expansion, as well as the blockers, the Blacksmith, the Arcane Vault. So he's preparing for this push. He's going straight Tier 3. The Mountain King's almost here. But this push is just looking stronger and stronger now with that orb.
42 supply to 44 supply. I do like the over-defensive approach at the expo. He knows his loss condition. If he loses this expo, it's as good as over. Going right to Tier 3. Needs to buy time for those Knights.
Yeah, that's what he's looking to get. We'll soon probably get his first workshop up. Soon get maybe a second barracks as well. A Coil Nova on the Archmage means that it's already within death threshold had there been another Coil Nova. So it's going to have to be a scroll use. It's going to have to be potions purchased. And soon with this Pit Lord 3rd, INSUP's going to be attacking that expansion. Wand of the Wind, not the greatest of items, but could mount him maybe an Archmage kill. You use Coil Nova, Wand of the Wind, you wait for the cooldown to come off, and then you just use it all over again. Could be risky territory. Yeah, this push is really strong for INSUP right now.
And soon it's going to be Rain of Fire time on that middle. All those towers, all those peasants soon to be roasted up. Mountain King almost got surrounded there. INSUP so deadly with the surrounds. You have to respect that. You have to back off. And the Cyclone used. Mountain King may be dead with this surround.
Yeah, the footmen are in quite good positions, though, and SaysO's managed to keep enough alive. The Coil Nova, the Mountain King, going to die no sooner than he came out. A Fiend traded because the Coil was on cooldown, but a Fiend for a Mountain King, not a terrible trade at all. SaysO's doing a decent job, though, keeping at least his towers alive. The first Destroyer up in the air, the Lich gets level 2. These guard towers, can they hold the door? Because they have to.
And here comes the Rain of Fire on the peasants, on the towers, starting to get some damage onto the Pit Lord. One more coil in the bag, may be used on the Pit Lord soon. Frost Armor also going out, pushing these footies back. They're taking quite a bit of damage as more Rain of Fire comes down onto the worker line.
Yeah, that's the real downside of losing the Mountain King. It's, of course, better than losing the Archmage, but you cannot Stormbolt the Rain of Fire, so you get 2 clean waves on all the peasants. Now, the shop goes down before the Orb and Staff can be purchased. You would have loved to get both those items if you were SaysO. He's trying to get another guard tower up in the back, but with these Fiends, he's going to lose one of the first guard towers he made. The Mountain King is back and running across, but there's just so many units still for INSUP.
Needs to be careful. There is another Wand of the Wind charge on the Death Knight. He could be using it on the Mountain King again and get a nice surround, or maybe even use it on the Archmage. One more Fiend falls, and it looks like for the time being, SaysO might have held this off, but I wouldn't be surprised if INSUP turned around any second now.
Yeah, INSUP needs more mana on his Death Knight, of course, so maybe going to go back and creep this shop. Could get even a potion of vulnerability for that Pit Lord that was not looking too healthy for quite a while. But in doing so, he's going to give enough space for SaysO to get that Paladin out sooner rather than later, a couple of nights. The issue now becomes the lumber is so low. There's plenty of peasants to start mining, and there is the first 2 lumber upgrades, but it's going to be difficult to get the army that SaysO needs before INSUP is just knocking on the door again.
Yeah, he has 6 peasants at the expo, just a handful at the main base. I don't think it's quite enough. Only 17 right now. And unfortunately, what happens here, if you have that lumber deficit in the beginning, it snowballs into a larger deficit later when you really need it. And now a knight, is he stuck in his main base right now?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The positioning of the second barracks, maybe not optimal. The positioning of the peasants at the expansion, not either. Town portal back to try to defend. But there's no militia in the main base really to be called other than the few that you mentioned, the 3 that are there right now. And there's going to be 2 knights soon enough stuck. I think SaysO might need to give up this expansion for a little while and then consolidate his forces at his main.
He needs to start chopping down those trees quickly, get those knights out. Having that knight stuck at the main base not only is keeping you in low upkeep, also all that investment just useless right now. One knight able to squeak by, not get taken. That's certainly going to help. Paladin now online, but you got to get those knights onto the battlefield if you want any shot at holding this.
Yeah, SaysO might almost have had to go back to his main base in Town Portal, but now he's engaging with 1 knight instead of 3 right now. This is rough, and the Cyclone is going to put that single knight up in the air. There's enough flying machines maybe to counter these 2 destroyers as more come in. 1 more Fiend's going to fall. That would make 3 in total. Okay, there's the 3rd. How many coils do we have currently? We almost have 1 thanks to that Sobi mask. More knights reinforcing. Still 2 stuck in the base. A 3rd is going to be stuck in the base soon. This is a strong army for SaysO, stronger than INSUP's, but half of it's in the main base stuck.
Such a tragedy. Would love to see those knights out and give INSUP a fair fight, and INSUP trying to take advantage of these missed rallies by SaysO.
Yeah, I think SaysO's doing it, though. Look at it. He's got 3 knights. It's about to be 4 stuck in his main base, and he's still doing it. This army is so strong. INSUP's going to have to back away, and he's going to have to transition into Banshees. He's committing so many units. SaysO might be getting the 1-0 lead, despite the huge mistake of these knights being stuck.
Yeah, the Sundering Blade so effective on the Fiends, able to lock them down with Stormbolt as well. Not many coils left, even with the help of the Sobi mask and the statues, as the Gyros continue to take down the sky and take down the destroyers.
Yeah, really well done here from SaysO. Nice play, nice defensive play. He took losses, but he's managing to hold on long enough, and most people know if you hold on long enough against INSUP in this matchup when INSUP is playing 1 base, you know, it's very hard for him to kite. He talks about it all the time. He doesn't know how to beat this army short of a miracle when it gets to this stage, and now SaysO has all the space in the world. His expansion is mining. His lumber's not looking too shabby either. Yes, a couple of knights may fall, but this is 47 against 63 currently.
Keep in mind, 12 of that supply is back at the main base, still stuck. But doesn't seem to matter as SaysO pressing on forward, has plenty of mana on the Paladin, going to be able to holy light some of these knights, hopefully before they fall. 1 more knight falls courtesy of INSUP, and he's looking to get as many of these knight kills as possible to keep his backline alive. Yeah,
worth noting that SaysO only 1-0 upgrades and still doesn't have staff or orb. Okay, now he's chopping the trees down to get those knights out. And he could back off and creep a little bit. As I said earlier, I think the wise choice now for INSUP is to creep and to go into Banshees. He's getting a single temple. We've seen Happy recently even go double temple just for almost pure casters against the knights. And there's plenty of knights, so it could be a good counter. But for now, INSUP just going to get a few Banshees and start creeping up.
At this point, you have to think as the human player. Your undead opponents transitioning into Banshees might want to think about the frag shards, might want to think about the mortars to be able to counter those Banshees.
Yeah, that'd definitely be an excellent choice now and an excellent time to transition for SaysO. SaysO maybe showing a little bit of inexperience, still committing to flying machines. He actually didn't have flat cannons until now. That's impressive. He's able to defend those few destroyers with only a handful of flying machines and no flat cannons, but Okay, now would be the time, absolutely, to go for this frag shard mortar teams. The Knights are out! Woo! The Knights are finally out. That is such a big boon to the army of New Zealand right now. But the heroes getting quite strong themselves for INSUP.
Yeah, he just quadrupled his melee presence, 1 knight to 4, just like that. And he's had them all back there banked up for quite a while, getting 0 value for over 3 minutes. As the gyros lead in, gonna get webbed down, hoping to get some surface area on these destroyers.
Mountain King, the Paladin, a little bit far back. The Magnetar Reaver had not been cleaned up by INSUP, and that's really what he wanted. He wanted nice items for these heroes to be able to carry him, because it's going to be just the heroes, really, that's doing everything. Level 3 on the Mountain King means these fiends are close to getting one shot when paired with Night Focus Fire. INSUP's trying to kite with that Scroll to Beast that he's using. The first Banshee comes out. Is it enough? I don't know. The Rain of Fire is nice, but the hero focus on the Death Knight now.
Death Knight falling quite low. Has the TP in the bag if he needs it. Knight's starting to fall as well. SaysO going to back off, and the Magnetar Reaver still able to be claimed. Wonder who is going to take it down. A couple A-bombs coming out for INSUP. Gonna have some melee presence as well to keep those Knights off of the Fiends.
Yeah, the first Sorceresses are coming out to counter the Abominations, but still no mortar teams. More flying machines, in fact, for SaysO. He hasn't seen a Destroyer in quite a while. They're just kind of feeding experience, and he has seen the first Banshee, so surprised to not see, like you pointed out earlier, at least frag shards being upgraded, if not a couple of mortar teams. But still, the army advantage, I would say, is in the humans' favor, and the supply advantage.
Yeah, for now, as long as there's only 1 Banshee on the field, but 1 can quickly turn into 6 or 7, and before you know it, all of your Knights are INSUP's Knights, and that's where the game ends.
Yeah, that's definitely what INSUP's going to be looking to do over time. It'll take some time, but at least there's some creeps left on the map. In fact, quite a few. There's 3 to the north of the map, maybe even 4 if you include that little green boy. So there's, you know, enough creeping to maybe even get, I don't want to say Lich level 5, but to get close to Lich level 5, and that's where the hero nuke really becomes a problem. This Archmage, pretty squishy still.
That Archmage's going to need a permanent Potion of Invulnerability in his inventory if he wants to stand any chance against level 5 Nova, level 5 Coil. And here we go. We're getting started again. Pit Lord right in the front. Statue a little bit out of position here might fall. That'd be a big takedown for SaysO, as SaysO's looking quite strong in this early game.
Yeah, for sure. The statue out of position. Also, the Banshee was out of position for a second, but luckily for him, the Stormbolt was on cooldown. There's a couple of Stormbolts left. A couple of Knights are also falling. The Clap there is not the best, but not the worst. Of course, the Cloak of Flames is doing a decent job right now in the front. There seems to not be a ton of human units left over, actually. A couple of Knights are about to fall. 2 of them. A couple of Banshees about to fall, but INSUP is doing a good job kiting, and he's getting more experience on these heroes.
INSUP doing a great job kiting. Doesn't even need possession on the Banshee. Still rank 0 initiate. Got a lot of damage on that Paladin also. Knights falling 1 by 1 by 1. And as you said, the gyros in the air just feeding XP at this point. Not really providing any value at the moment, as they can't get surface area on the destroyers.
Yeah, and SaysO's still kind of panic macroing flying machines behind this as well. He's got them hotkeyed, and he's producing them along with the Knights, along with the Breakers. If INSUP can hold on in this fight right now, which might be tough against the Brilliance Aura, he'll get this expansion up. Now, the Paladin has to be past that potion, because there's still really, well, there has been a staff for this fight, but it's on cooldown because there's only 1 of them, because he bought it so late.
No TP on the Archmage. It's now or never for SaysO. This might be the final push of the game. INSUP looking to close things out. So close to level 5 on his Lich as well. About 4.5, a little more. But low mana count, might need to back up, regenerate some mana, and come back a little bit later.
And that Paladin looking juicy, but there's no Nova. And the Coil not... the Coil might be able to get close. Use it on the Abomination, and then the Divine Shield is forced yet again. Level 3 now on the Paladin. A huge, massive level up for SaysO as he's pressing forward. 65 against 52. And SaysO's heroes are getting close to as scary as INSUP's are right now.
Absolutely, that 400 health. Holy Light going to be very helpful. Knights getting healed up a lot every Holy Light. Plenty of mana left on the Paladin as well. Fiends falling so quickly, courtesy the Sundering Blades of Death Coil across the map. Takes the Paladin out in the back of the army.
Yeah, there was a staff, but it would have had to be a clutch staff. You still have to be careful if you're INSUP, though, for the hero focus. Now that the Paladin's dead, at least he can rest a little bit assured he won't get nuked too heavily, but still, the next Stormbolt could be used on the Death Knight, and the focus fire might meet the Death Knight's end, but for now, still a 10 supply advantage for SaysO. Needs to be careful. The staff's on cooldown. He used it on a knight, apparently, so this Mountain King has to back away. In fact, the entire army definitely has to back away for SaysO.
Still has the supply advantage, 62 to 38. iNSUP doing so much with so little, but is taking down flying machines one by one. As the Lich, now at level 5, is going to have incredible nuking potential. SaysO needs to be very careful. And speaking of nuke, see you later, Mountain King.
Yeah, that's why you cannot, at this stage, be using the staff on knights willy-nilly. You have to keep it around for these heroes. 2 times now, the heroes have gone down. The first time, the staff was off cooldown. The second time, it was not, but it should have been. Still more units falling. Still the knight working on the Haunted Gold Mine, by the way. No mining able to be done at that expansion. The knight will back away. So SaysO has at least kept it a 2-base, 1-base situation, but the main base is 700 gold left over. The expansion of SaysO, 1,600 gold left over. I do fear that if it comes down to a few units and just heroes, SaysO's not going to be able to keep his Mountain King, his Archmage, his Paladin alive at all once the economy is run dry.
Now, if you get a nuke on that Paladin, the other heroes are as good as dead. If iNSUP has enough mana, that hero combo is going to be just too strong to deal with, as iNSUP's looking to take down the remainder of this expo of SaysO.
Yeah, keep an eye on that Archmage. It could melt immediately. And Coil Nova, Archmage, already 100 health. 1 wave of attacks would be able to kill it. There's no way to save it currently. And there's another Coil. It's good as dead. That's level 6. That's level 3 Aura. Yes, some Fiends are falling, but probably just the hero focus on the Mountain King next. All right, SaysO. He's got a lot of knights, but he's got only 1 hero currently.
I'm glad you were casting that part. That was hard to watch, that Archmage go 100 to 0 just like that. iNSUP so deadly with the nukes. Now has his eyes on the knight front line.
He's kiting away. He's got that, I assume, level 3 Aura now. Yes, it is level 3 Aura. 1 knight now pairing off. Really nicely done from SaysO to the expansion. So the Acolytes are all going to be falling to that knight unless iNSUP reacts. And the main bases now have run dry. Let's not forget, only 2 minutes of mining left for SaysO. Enough of mining for him to get his heroes back, to maybe get a potion of invulnerability. But then that's probably going to be it, because I don't see SaysO making his way up to the top left of the map to clear that red camp for a 3rd base.
1 knight at the expo, taking on these Acolytes just fine, but not going to be able to take on this 47 supply army. Gets nuked down immediately for his troubles. And there's a lot of mana to go around on the Death Knight and the Pit Lord, but really not much on the Lich. So maybe a little break from the nukes for the time being.
Yeah, Rain of Fire has actually been getting decent surface area on all the knights throughout the game. 1 Fiend falls. That Mountain King, though, is looking within kill threshold, but the Holy Light is there. Nuke is used on the Paladin. Staff onto the Paladin. Might have had a Divine Shield available. Mana Potion used. The Archmage has to be careful. The Mountain King has to be carefuler. As the Lich gets focused, has a Potion of Invulnerability, and has a level 3 Death Coil. iNSUP might be doing it, but he's pretty much just down to heroes.
39 supply to 49 supply. Quite a few knights left. Will be able to do quite a bit of damage to the heroes and the Crypt Fiends, but now the MK getting focused on down. Death Knight going to chase it down. Death Knight has another coil in the bag. Doesn't even need it. Just the Orb of Corruption to take him down.
And the supply is at last in iNSUP's favor. It's taken a while. It's taken a lot of kiting. It's taken a lot of fights, but now it's in his favor. There's only 400 gold left for SaysO. Is that even enough for him to get his heroes back? Well, it is enough for him to get his Mountain King back. The Paladin on the way. Okay, Fiend falls. What do we have? 2 statues left over and 3 heroes. But the Nerubian is almost a hero in and of itself at this stage in the game.
Level 5.6 Pit Lord, 5.7 Lich, level 6 DK. This trifecta can almost solo an entire human army themselves. They're getting so scary. A little bit more mana on this DK and Lich, and this game is as good as over.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous heroes. The peasants are going to fall at the expansion, but there's only 30 gold left. Will he be able to mine it? Oh, no. What he could have done with that 30 gold would have been at 132. But, yeah, it's going to be heroes versus heroes. All right, Hero Wars. The statues are going to be focused. Holy Light. SaysO could do this with the hero focus. The first player to lose his heroes right now probably loses the game, but at the end of the day, iNSUP is only the one mining. So SaysO's on a timer, definitely, and more units reinforcing now.
No knights left either to help kill these Crypt Fiends. A lot of healing potential from the statue and the remaining coil from the Death Knight, who has level 3 Death Coil. Again, INSUP's army push back into the Expo. Nerubian Tower online going to make this push that much harder for SaysO.
Yeah, I think SaysO has to go for hero focus. INSUP going for the same. The Archmage might actually not last despite there being 2 Holy Lights. That is a ridiculous nuke. And GG. 1-0 for INSUP. It was not without adversity, though.
INSUP getting away with 2 black eyes. That was a lot closer than I guess we all expected. It shows once again that this, is his weak matchup. What would have been if SaysO is not trapping half of his army in his base?
Yeah, I think he probably would have just continued to push. And the thing is, if he had those 3 knights earlier, INSUP wouldn't have been able to creep all he did and get those crazy heroes and then go for the repush and end up winning with, 6-5-5 heroes. He could have pressured with those 3 extra knights and just won fight after fight and stolen every creep camp. So those 3 knights might have been a game-losing mistake.
Or was it a mistake to eventually free them and donate them to the XP pool of the undead heroes, or Drummer?
Yeah, it hurts so much to see. I think what you need for this is a camera on me. So anytime the Coiled Nova goes out in the Archmage, I don't know if you're watching my facial expressions. I was just like, oh. Every time it was happening. Thankfully, Carson was there to pick up the cast. But yeah, it was a great game by SaysO. Held his ground the entire way through. That was a 24-minute game. Not what I expected out of game 1 out of this series. And SaysO looking quite strong playing random.
Yeah, I wonder if he regrets playing random now and thinks about if he should have just picked human for the entire series.
Yeah, I mean, this probably is the best case scenario that he gets random and is forcing INSUP to play the 1-base Ted Fiends. I wonder what INSUP would have done if we might see that against Cruncher, if he would have known that SaysO is playing human. Would he have gone for the Lich or would he have stuck to the Ted Fiends? But yeah, I mean, his human is very good. It's as good as his Orc, and his Orc, we've talked about that being his strongest off race.
We'll see what he gets now. We'll roll the dice again, this time on INSUP's map, who decides to go for the updated Autumn Leaves.
Love to see the new maps being played over and over again, and it looks like Autumn Leaves and Tidehunters becoming crowd favorites as much as the adversity they faced when they launched.
Exactly. We're waiting... Oh, for Mr. OC Drummer. Game is up, or is there a bug in the lobby? There he is, with a sweet ping of 9, living right next to the server. And with that, we are ready to go if the players are ready.
What race do you think they're gonna get, guys? What's your bet, Neil, before the game? What do you think? You're the prophet. You're the prophet. You got this. Crystal ball. Let's go.
I am the prophet indeed, and I gotta focus a little bit. Is it human again? No, I don't think so. I have a tendency for Night Elf or Undead. Night Elf or Undead? Night Elf, what sounds better? I think Night Elf. It's gonna be Night Elf.
Night Elf. God, if you're right, we're never gonna hear the end of it, are we?
I mean, everybody knows I'm the prophet.
So you have nothing to prove.
Nothing to prove. After my predictions at the regional finals, I mean...
True. Kalaris was pretty good too, though, during the regional finals, to be fair to him. His predictions were on point.
He's a god at predictions, man. That's rough. But yeah, INSUP is taking a little bit of a break. As we said, there's quite a lot of pressure, and that game was certainly not what he expected. For a first round game, for a player who has to win the tournament, this was way too rough if you compare it with the Hitman, with the Cruncher, and even with the Kimkaki.
Absolutely, and INSUP's doing well against Night Elf. Like, we've looked at his stats on War 3 Champions, and if it is Night Elf, if the prophecy is fulfilled, looks like INSUP might have a smooth coast into a 2-0 series.
Hopefully for him. Maybe that also speaks in favor of SaysO. First of all, the balls he shows here to just play random, but it's not super cheese. He's been playing multiple races for quite some time. Very good with all of them. And makes it very, very unpredictable, and starts with a pick and ban phase. Like, what do you even pick? What do you even ban?
Yeah, it's always a question. Do you go for more comfort bans or I mean, there's always some maps that you'd want to ban for sure. Like, you know, in the past, if you were maybe up against Human, you'd want to ban Terran Stanley. If Amazonia was still in the pool, you'd want to guarantee ban that. But nowadays, there's not a lot of terrible maps for specific matchups. So it's always hard when you're in the pick and ban phase up against random to know, regardless of what race you're playing, really what to ban. It's got to be all comfort. And SaysO has the luxury of just, you know, going for what he's comfortable with. And, you know, I think this time around, if he gets Human again and he doesn't make those couple of mistakes, we could see a 1-1 series. I think SaysO's probably hoping he gets random's Human all 3 times. He's got to be praying for that.
I think so too. At this point, I think so too. And it feels like we've got a little bug in the lobby or something, but we are fixing it right now. So players are ready. We are ready. We see the handsome young man here. INSUP on the left, SaysO on the right. Once again, the New Zealandee facing the lower bracket as so often. Never made it to the playoffs in all of his DreamHack appearances. If he should make it out of this group, that will be a lot of bragging rights at the family breakfast kitchen table.
I don't know if they talk about that, but yeah, maybe, probably, yes.
What else would you talk about except WarCraft?
Yes. True. You're absolutely right.
Of course I am. That's why I'm the boss. And that's why you have to obey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like that. I like the tone of that. I could get I could get used to that, Carson. But I could also get used to more dual casts of Carson and OC drummers. So give me more. Map number 2, match points for INSUP.
All right. In the bottom left, we have INSUPERABLE. In the upper right, spawning as Orc, we have SaysO. All right. Orc against Undead. And OC, I mean, we've casted a few games of INSUP against Orc recently, and he's been kind of on a roll.
Yeah, if you look at his stats in War 3 Champions, Orc looks to be his weakest matchup, but when you look at the ESL Cups, they paint a different picture. Was able to 2-0 Soen, and was able to be quite formidable against Hitman. So INSUP, very experienced against Orc. We'll see how it goes down today as he's up against Farseer Headhunters.
Yeah, and he's luckily going to have the right blind build order against Farseer Headhunters. I mean, you can't always go for fast fiends, and that tends to be pretty good against Farseer Headhunters, but the fast VK slow fiends opener is also quite good. You can get that level 2 for the aura, then transition into the Dark Ranger at tier 2. So I don't think INSUP will be too disappointed with his build order now that he's scouted.
Acolyte shows INSUP everything he needs, and I'm sure that gives him just the raw amount of confidence that it's not Human again. He could take a sigh of relief and get ready for an Orc game.
Yeah, and as Kibikaki pointed out very correctly, I feel, earlier, this map is a little bit worse for Farseer Headhunters now. The middle camp's more difficult to take, which is typically... I mean, the Orc player is typically the one to have map control in the mid game, so they can get that mercenary camp, that lab. The green camp not as easy to creep with just solo wolves because it can purge you now. So there's a few reasons why it's a little bit worse if you're in SaysO's shoes now. He's going to go immediately for the harass, which is the right choice. We'll see what he can get done. Gloves to hasten the Death Knight, and then I'm just going to back away for now.
The Lich is going to love those gloves later on in the game if he is taken, but like you said, might see a Dark Ranger second anyway. Farseer now here in the face of INSUP, looking to get as much damage done as possible. Wolf's going to be pulled back, doesn't want to feed any early XP to INSUP.
Yeah, I feel this is maybe a slight, let's say, inaccuracy from INSUP. Generally, you don't want to go back into your base. He, of course, wants to wait for the Nerubian to get up, but what you want to do, if you're INSUP, is you want to run to the other side of the map and go for green camps, because you want to force the Orc player to run into your base and do nothing against the Nerubian and the ghouls, but in the same time the Orc is doing that, you want to be off to the side, creeping a green, getting that level 2, and then once you get that level 2 for the aura if you're INSUP, then you can start pressuring these headhunters. But we see INSUP is continuously running back into his base, not giving SaysO the ultimatum of, do I stop my opponent from creeping, or do I pressure the main base? Oh my god. Holy Jesus.
A lot of damage on that DK, but the body blocks on the Headhunter. Acolyte styling and profiling on that Headhunter who pays the price with the Death Coil.
Absolutely ridiculous block there from INSUP, and he almost lands a 4-point skeleton acolyte surround on the next header. This is some classic NA play, classic INSUP play right here, going for the style points and definitely getting the style points. He's going to get a second headhunter, maybe. The skeleton's actually going to expire, but still the damage is all that matters. But the Death Knight damage, speaking of that, is quite significant.
Wolves chasing down the Death Knight, has 50 health left. Not sure if the Wolves themselves are going to have what it takes. Farseer needs to try to get back there, get some surface area on the Death Knight. Not going to be able to squeeze past these Ziggurats, these Nerubian towers. So they're perfectly placed by INSUP, and the Death Knight nice and safe and cozy in the back of the main base.
Yeah, there's a skeleton that could be sacrificed to heal up, said Death Knight. But SaysO is probably well aware of that. He's got another summon of wolves that he could use. He's going to use them to creep. He could use them to cancel that ritual dagger, but INSUP doesn't be looking to go for the ritual dagger at all. He doesn't want to waste the gold. He's just going to heal up on the blight. But in the meantime, SaysO might be able to steal some camps away.
Yeah, if you're SaysO, got to catch up on the creeping, get that level 2 Chain Lightning going to be so strong in this early game. You'd be able to really keep that Death Knight back if Chain Lightning is a threat, as INSUP looking to cause some pressure onto SaysO as well, both fighting over the Frostwolf.
Yeah, there's also an Acolyte for INSUP, and I know exactly what INSUP's thinking with that Acolyte. He's thinking, I'm going to go find that low HP Headhunter, and I'm going to kill it. Yep. Rambo going in, dun, 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 dun. Oh my god, he's actually going to get it. The peon, the chaos! Okay, the Farseer is also being blocked at the same time. INSUP is ridiculous with his blocks. Oh, gets level 2. He does get the Headhunter with the Acolyte, and the Skeleton block manages to get the Farseer on less than half HP. Very nice, fancy plays from INSUP that are working out.
Yeah, INSUP is bringing the style to this game. SaysO needs to make a big comeback here, needs to get creeping, get that level 2, because INSUP has it, has the Unholy Aura, and now has the counter to the Headhunters, the Dark Ranger.
Yeah, this game is going very, very well for INSUP. Nice micro so far. A little bit of adversity, taking a ton of damage on that Death Knight, but now he's got the Aura, and he even catches the reinforcements. Even getting another block. INSUP's micro, we couldn't necessarily tell it last game, but it's always hard to kite against Knights. But this game, you can tell how on point it is. This is a third Headhunter going down. SaysO trying to creep, but his experience doesn't seem to be that much of an advantage for him currently.
Not at the moment, but the unit head count is big. Having 5 Headhunters instead of 8 due to those pickoffs from INSUP, a big, big difference in this early game.
Okay, Torn Chieftain second, Bestiary tier 3 tech, all pretty standard, although Shadowhunter seconds become the favor of most Orc players. Currently, Torn Chieftain definitely still an acceptable hero, still a very strong hero if you can get him up to level 3. For INSUP, he's going to have a late tier 3 tech, but he will eventually have that Lich for that orb as a third hero.
Yeah, Torn Chieftain, nice pick. We also see Shadowhunter quite a bit, but Torn Chieftain just fine. Needs to get him up to level 3, because level 2 War Stops to be so effective against those fiends.
Yeah, SaysO pulling the lab, but maybe afraid of the new creeps here on Autumn Leaves. And INSUP gonna see those creeps got pulled, so he's gonna pretty much know the general area of where SaysO is, but maybe he creeps the mercenary camp himself. Potion of Vulnerability almost spawned at the shops. Both players are gonna want that. Probably more important on the SaysO side of things, so he's gonna probably purchase that right now. Also gonna need Dust of Appearance, because will eventually be Burrow. In fact, it's almost done right now.
Yeah, would love to see that purchased as well. Don't think he picked it up. Nope, he did not. And now just the Farseer and the Wolves fending off the entire army of INSUP, and a nice deny right away from SaysO.
Yeah, we'll see if SaysO can be as effective as Hitman was yesterday against Duck. So far, the delay is good, and the Death Knight level 3 is not going to be anytime soon. And the Torn Chieftain's creeping up safe as houses back at home. INSUP eventually will be able to get this Troll Warlord, but will he lose a Fiend for it? So far, not, but there is a Chain Lightning.
SaysO doing what he can to be a nuisance. Cause some delays from INSUP. Certainly delaying things, but INSUP going to be able to claim the item and the creep as well. Some Raiders going to get caught in a bad position and almost get surrounded. INSUP lets him out, get a statue into a better position.
Oh, nice TP from INSUP. He would have lost a ton here. In fact, he loses a Fiend. Doesn't get that Headhunter. Doesn't get the Raider either, but still I think a wise Town Portal. When that Stomp came in, when the Chain Lightning came in, when the Wolves got resummoned, it was going to get dicey, but still, adversity again for INSUP in the mid-game.
We'll see how INSUP pivots here. Tier 3 almost done, literally coming out, and the orb going to be a big power spike for INSUP. Also getting level 3 on that Death Knight right around the corner. So the Farseer isn't going anywhere, continues to stay right in the face of INSUP, doing the Hitman style.
Yeah, and I think that power spike you just mentioned, the Lich that's on the way now, the Orb soon, the Destroyer soon, that makes that town portal from INSUP even wiser. The Canadian getting wise in his old age, quite a nice town portal, and now he's just going to wait, be patient, and then eventually he'll have that power spike you're talking about.
SaysO going to keep an eye on INSUP, going to keep following him around, be a nuisance, try to slow down the creeping potential of INSUP, who's going to creep right in the face of SaysO.
SaysO reaches tier 3, of course. He's got Berserker Shadowhunter on the way. Kodo with the battle drums will soon be online. Farseer is putting a lot of damage on these statues. No real kills so far, except for that one fiend during the town portal, but still, as you say, a nuisance. And it definitely has been. The Death Knight will finally get level 3, thanks to a coil on that creep there, but it's taken a long time.
Yeah, 10-minute level 3 Death Knight, very rarely seen, so SaysO doing something right here, keeping the Death Knight under level 3 for the majority of the game, and behind all of this, Torrent Chief did 3.5, looking quite scary himself.
Yeah, there's not a ton of creeps left for the Shadowhunter to gobble up, but definitely there'll be a red camp. There's still this lab left over, and there's a couple of greens scattered, as well as that consumable to the right of the map. So if SaysO can venture a little far away from where he is currently, he could find maybe level 3 Shadowhunter. Hex on the Lich now. Coil is there, as well as the Destroyer up in the air. Oh, got to be careful with the Lich, though. Okay, there's the Coil, so close to going down. The next stomp might find a kill, but not quite able to get in range.
A really nicely timed Coil, Ensnare, and Warstomp not quite ready to secure that Lich kill. Does take a Destroyer down. So Torrent Chief looking to lock in a nice stop. DK stunned, Fiend stunned in the back.
Oh,
DK
no.
now getting hexed. Could this be it for the DK of INSUP? INSUP able to make it back in time and find some space.
A really nice start to the fight for SaysO. A big stomp there. Ridiculous stomp. 2 fiends about to fall. There's one more coil left. No town portal. Greater heal used. The Lich is finding a couple of kills, but there's still almost 2 more stomps. The Dark Ranger, the Lich, GGG is called. And we got a tied series. Really nice fight from SaysO.
Woo! All of a sudden, we have a tied series, and all of a sudden, one of the favorites here in this tournament is in danger of facing the lower bracket. This is not how INSUP expected the series to go at all, and I want to say this wasn't even close.
Yeah, SaysO was playing very well in game 1. You know, not a ton of mistakes. Just got stretched out to the late game. This game just really well done. The harass that Osti was talking about really made the big difference. There wasn't a big pile of skeletons. The Death Knight was so low on mana by the time he reached level 3. Just a very solid game from SaysO.
SaysO made a lot of fans last time with unusual strategies and locations, and now he's just owning. Scary situation, everybody. We have one more map on day 2 of DreamHack Winter, and INSUP is facing the lower bracket. Arc is waiting there. Cruncher, of course, waiting in the winners final. We give these guys a little bit of a breather. In 3 minutes, we continue with the last map of the day, which is going to be Tidehunters. See you then. boy, what do we got here? A game 3 between INSUP and SaysO determining the 4th player in the winners finals, where it could be the first time that New Zealand is represented in the winners finals. Never happened before. And also, Drummer, I gotta ask, for INSUP, is it a little bit too much style over substance, especially from the game on Autumn Leaves?
Perhaps there, INSUP with a couple critical mistakes there, but really at the end of the day, I think it was just strong play from SaysO, able to stay on the heels of INSUP, not allowing him to get to level 3 with the Death Knight till the 10-minute mark. That was a huge deal. INSUP, not enough pressure on the Orc army, and at the end of the day, SaysO came out strong.
And now, I said this is gonna be Night Elf. Of course, I meant game 3 and not game 2, but I guess you knew that already. It's the 3rd different race for SaysO in this one, but of course, we don't want to let you wait any longer. This is the decision on day 2 of DreamHack Winter Americas. Let's go, INSUP versus SaysO. Who's gonna join Cruncher?
All right. The secret will not be revealed, says SaysO, but the sacred grove may be desecrated because it is Night Elf from SaysO. And INSUP, as you pointed out, OC, INSUP's very strong against Night Elf. But as I pointed out, you also have to go a suboptimal build order specifically against Night Elf. There'll be no ghouls for INSUP, so it's going to be something good for him and something bad for him.
Yeah, and the Entangle going to be quite strong, but no Entangle this time. Going to go for the Demon Hunter first. So going to see some quite interesting openers from both players. INSUP maybe a sigh of relief as it's not Orc. He will find this out in the next 30 seconds as the Acolyte makes his way down to the main base.
Yeah, and then you can't always, I'm not entirely sure the specifics on this, but you maybe can just ignore the fact you built a graveyard and still just go for ghouls. And then later on, you can go for fiends. Later on, you need the graveyard regardless for the slaughterhouse with the statues. So, maybe you could still just go ghouls. Oh, in fact, he cancels the graveyard. That's a reaction. Sure, why not?
Yeah, recoup those resources. Don't need it. Gonna have some more gold and lumber now for some of these ghouls, as they're gonna be able to chop more lumber, produce some more attack power against those archers.
Yeah, and I do like from SaysO, I'm not entirely sure. I would say maybe Night Elf would be his weakest off race, but still very strong, of course. But I do like the fact that he's playing Demon Hunter. I think Demon Hunter, if you're not practicing Night Elf all the time, Demon Hunter is a more simple way to play. You don't have to worry about securing that expansion early with the Keeper. You don't have to worry about harassing a ton, doing split pushes, buying time for yourself. You don't have to worry about when do I go tier 3. If I go tier 3 too early, I might get all in. Demon Hunter is very simple. You can play one base for a long time. You get your Panda, your Naga, you get your Bears early. So I like that he's playing Demon here.
We see usually him first or second. We see him quite a bit too. Mana burn, very effective against the undead heroes who are quite ineffective without their mana pools.
Yeah, we're seeing no mana pool currently on the Death Knight, who is yet to reach the level 2, and would love that aura. Gonna pull the ghouls to do some split creeping as their backpack. Actually, no backpack for INSUP. Surprised to not see that. This is a great map to split creep with ghouls while picking up and selling or transferring those items with the backpack, but regardless, INSUP's still gonna do the split creeping. Just a little bit inefficient. Maybe he can find an archer for his troubles, though.
We're not going to see it anytime soon. Necropolis already being upgraded to tier 2. More damage done to the Death Knight, who just claimed level 2. Going to get that Unholy Aura and be able to catch these archers that much easier.
Yeah, and now SaysO will, of course, know what INSUP is split creeping. His tier 2 is underway. We'll keep an eye out for that Hunter's Hall. Make sure it's not too late. The ghouls are going to continue to creep. Yeah, it's such a good map. This is actually makes sense that INSUP would cancel the graveyard to get more ghouls, because this is such a strong map for a ghoul opener. There's so many camps. We see 1, 2, 3, 4 close by to the base. You can creep with just the ghouls alone, so absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, I like that as well. But one weakness that you brought up earlier, no backpack. So Death Knight's going to have to circle and patrol around and collect all these items himself.
Yeah, he goes back and gets the claws, goes to hey, it's not going to be too sad about having to go collect those. It's going to be nice for the Lich later on. SaysO purchases the Boots of Speed and a Circlet from the shop, and he is pulling this Snapper here. Maybe he could creep it himself. No Hunter's Hall yet, but soon enough probably will be coming up, and for INSUP, Graveyard and tier 2 tech about 30 seconds off.
Yeah, we need to see that Hunter's Hall soon if he wants any shot at getting lures on time. But right now, INSUP looking to get level 3 off the next creep camp or 2. Plenty of breathing room for both players here. As SaysO making his way back over to the shop.
Yeah, SaysO's kind of getting low on experience. He's been very aggressive, but INSUP is one decent-sized camp away. Almost a surround there. The Archer's still a little bit exposed. But yeah, this is probably going to be level 3 Death Knight against level 2 Demon Hunter if all goes well. A little bit more fancy stuff from INSUP. Going to find himself an Archer. Or will he, though? There is dust. Yeah, the Skeleton going to be paired off and going to find that kill. Nice little play there from INSUP.
Yeah, couldn't quite get the creeps to sacrifice your Archer for you. Demon Hunter continuing to stay in the peripherals of INSUP. Force him to respect the Demon Hunter presence. Try to lock in a surround. But for now, INSUP going to potentially wait for a Tavern Hero.
Yeah, he's also denying SaysO from ever buying a Tavern Hero. He isn't building a Lich yet. INSUP doesn't have the gold, but yeah, he's denied SaysO from ever getting a Panda or a Naga here. Which is pretty nice so far. And even if SaysO did pick up a second hero, it would probably just get surrounded by INSUP. So this is a little bit of a weird stalemate situation that is maybe going to slightly favor INSUP because SaysO needs to get creeping, not only as Demon Hunter, but possibly a Panda.
Yeah, INSUP is ready for the hero to pop out of the southern point of that tavern. Now going to back off and try to get some damage onto the Demon Hunter, who's quickly going to run back with the boots. But INSUP getting back into position to take care of any hero who comes out of that tavern.
Yeah, there's just no chance to pick it up. And INSUP's going for a Lich himself. Yeah, that was the most NA thing I've ever seen. Just pre-surrounded the tavern all day, not allowing that second hero. Maybe SaysO could get it now, but nope, still can't get his second hero. This is going to happen all day. I'm pretty sure that INSUP, in fact, can dance all day, OC.
Yeah, we've seen him styled and profile in the past 2 games. Really good at body blocking, really good at surrounds. Need to be careful. Don't want to tempt INSUP with a nice juicy surround on a fresh level 1 hero. And finally, the Naga Sea Witch able to get out and make their way down to potentially defend the main base.
Oh, but no sooner does the Naga come out of the tavern that it might get surrounded. The Aura will help to catch up. The Nova might even help as well, going around the trees. Uh-oh, here's the Nova. And the surround could be locked in, but nope, the other way around, INSUP goes, and that's going to be a town portal because there is the dust for the cloak.
Smart plays by INSUP, knows he has the cloak, took a look at the inventory, preemptively bought the dust, forces the TP, and now the Naga is stuck at the northeastern part of Tidehunters.
This is such a weird game, man. This has all been just over trying to get this Naga back home. That's it. Saving Private Ryan or Saving Private Serena Scarscale apparently should be the new title.
Maybe another surround opportunity for INSUP. Does lock it in. Gonna get another kill here. Naga Sea Witch is dead. Now has his sights set onto the archers.
Yep, and really no creeping able to be done. The Ancient Ward, during all the chaos, accidentally walked into the lab and went down. So there's no really follow-up creeping for SaysO to do. And INSUP is probably gearing up for a tier 3 push. Maybe a Naga 3rd, probably a Destroyer soon enough to counter what's soon going to be Bears with Rejuve. So yeah, this is definitely looking really good for INSUP. He just needs to go back, get that orb, and get level 3 on his Death Knight, and he'll be ready to go.
And the Demon Hunter also needs level 3 himself. That 100 mana burn going to be so effective. Reduce the coils, reduce the Novas. SaysO needs to get creeping and get caught up and get to level 3.
Yeah, even off this whole camp, I fear he's not going to get level 3, but he'll get close, and he's got a green camp, a couple of them nearby he could get it from. Potion of Vulnerability is available as well. Maybe Dust would be wise to get, even though we don't have Burrow, of course, yet. But soon enough with the Fiends there will be. There's the Orb for INSUP. Level 3 will soon be reached. Maybe a nice Aura as well from this Rock Golem. Okay, we're finally at some sort of a normal mid-game. They're just both going to creep for a bit.
And they both need it badly. It's the 9-minute mark. Just now hitting level 3 again. A theme of this series. Very late level 3s for both opponents. The Demon Hunter needs it bad, but is now split creeping with the Naga. Going to be a little bit tougher to get it.
Yeah, and the thing about going Naga second for SaysO is generally when you go Naga second, you want to be the one pressuring the undead. You want to be the one killing ghouls, getting value in the late early game. But the Naga really has done nothing. So now, although it scales decently with Fork Lightning, it's not a Panda. And here comes INSUP with that Naga himself. Statues on the way, Frenzy Ghouls. The shop could go down before the orb is purchased, but no, Crystal Ball sold. The nuke is so strong. Is there a staff? Purchased but not used, and the bear's out of position. An absolute disaster for SaysO.
Just the nuke so fast from INSUP. Now has a sight set onto the archers. Now the Ancient of Wonder shop is going to fall. Bear is the next target of INSUP. The Ghouls with Ghoul Frenzy ripping through this army of SaysO, who's rejuvenating everything he can and preparing to make his final stand.
Yeah, and SaysO almost probably would have preferred that Naga be level 1 still, because it would actually come back maybe before the end of the game, but there's no more bears being produced. What you see is what you get. So close, actually. 3 experience off level 3 Demon Hunter, but I don't even think INSUP needs mana right now to close this out. SaysO came so close, yet so far. Night Elf, maybe not the race he wanted to get. Can he hold on? It's looking dire, but maybe, I don't know, a hero focus, pull all your wisps and go for a hero surround. Who knows?
He could style INSUP right back. Has the staff off cooldown, but not going to be able to do too much. Only a couple Moonwells left to be tapped. And the DH looking vulnerable as well. Fortunately for him, not much mana left on the DK or the Lich, but the Sea Witch has plenty in the bag.
And the Moonwells are the target. A couple of Dryads are out, but they keep getting surrounded by the Lores. The Demon Hunter, as you mentioned, has only one more Moonwell left, and he uses that right now. The Naga finally back, but might just immediately get surrounded. Oh, it doesn't even matter. The Naga is just dead. There's a staff, but he cannot reach. And again, this Naga seems to be... He should have been like Kiwikaki. Okay, nice staff. Should have been like Kiwikaki and played 1 hero is what I was going to say. But don't think it matters. He's soon to have 0 heroes. And yeah.
GG is called. And looks like INSUP's going to be going on to face Cruncher.